Hi, I'm Dan Grangaard, and I'll be your professor this semester. I wanted to make a short video introducing myself so you know a little bit about my background and where I'm coming from in teaching this course. I'm probably best known for backing everything we study up with a real-life example of psychology in practice. You know, a lot of textbook writers are great researchers and authors, but a lot of them haven't ever really been a clinician. And so a lot of examples you may read about in textbooks are things that they've heard about or maybe even just made up. But in my classes, absolutely everything that we study, I will back up with a real life example. And I think that'll help make the course come alive for you. I have 3 degrees from Baylor University. My undergraduate major was sociology, and then I had a minor in psychology, and then I earned a master's and a doctorate in educational psychology. I've got over like 4.5 decades of experience as a psychologist and more than 3 decades experience teaching college courses in psychology. I've taught, in addition to many courses here at Austin Community College, I've also taught at St. Edward's University and at Baylor University. Well, I was a school psychologist initially for almost a decade, where I worked with students ranging from kindergarten through seniors in high school. All psychologists reach a point where they want to do things their way and they'll start a private practice. And I started a private practice actually in the evenings when I was working as a school psychologist. Kind of a funny story. I had a friend who was a gynecologist and an obstetrician, and he let me use his office rent-free in the evenings. So I started a private practice in psychology in a gynecology office, which, well, there's a lot of funny stories I could tell you about that. As a private practitioner, I also served as a consulting psychologist to United Cerebral Palsy Association, to the Austin Child Guidance Center, to the Texas Baptist Children's Home in Round Rock, to the Bear Foundation, which was a therapeutic foster home network, and any number of other places. Eventually, I merged my private practice with a large psychiatric clinic where I became chief psychologist, director of intern training, and director of testing. Back when I was a school psychologist, I supervised school psychology interns from the University of Texas at Austin and from Texas State University down in San Marcos. So I already had a strong background as an intern supervisor when I started working at the clinic. Also at the clinic, we had our own 20-bed inpatient unit at a psychiatric hospital. And so over there, I did all the psychological testing, as well as I led group therapy every other weekend for like 7 years. So I've got a lot of experience working in hospitals, as well as doing outpatient testing and therapy. At ACC, besides teaching courses, I also spent, I think it was 16 or 17 years as a counselor and an advisor in student accessibility services. So I have a very extensive background as a clinician and as an instructor. And I think that my experience will help you understand all these different concepts that we study this semester.